All right. Well, hello, my friends out there. Thank you for joining us. I have Sidney here, who is my longtime friend and an appraiser. And we are going to learn exciting stuff today from Sidney sharing with us about appraisals. So, Sidney, uh,
Roxanne, good morning. Happy
good
Friday.
morning. Happy Friday to you.
The air is beautifully clean out here now, and there's no pollution, so this is great.
So tell us what Sydney does.
So I'm a real estate appraiser here in San Diego locally. I've been appraising. This is my 17th year. We have an awesome team from San Diego to Los Angeles. So I have a group of appraisers that we tackle the market from basically Southern California. And I love what I do. And this new COVID-19 era has brought some different challenges to the business and to the market. And would love to talk some more about that.
Yes, please tell us what you see has changed with COVID-19 coming into the picture.
Well, I first would like to say that for all those who can't work or stuck at home, I really feel for you. And those who have kids like myself, we become teachers and all that. Fortunately for myself, and I'm super blessed that, I guess the appraisal industry is still considered to be essential because people are out there refinancing and purchasing, and we still have to make those transactions go through. So for us as a company, I've had my busiest month in the month of March, which is awesome for us. And the majority of what we did, I would say 70% were refinances because money is cheap right now. And so people were getting rates from anywhere from 2.8 to, 3.8, depending on where you were dropping from. So because of that, and homeowners were home. So scheduling was easy. So the activity was strong in March as far as refinances goes and purchases as well. You'll be surprised that some people were buying homes just by looking at a video of the property because they were from out of town and it was tough to travel from other places into San Diego. But that's how strong I feel like the San Diego market is. It's still a place where people want to live, and there's a good amount of, I think out of 100 appraisals that we did that month, 30 to 35 were purchases, which is very, very strong. And you and I were talking about, Roxanne, was the marketability of a property and exposure time of a property. So I want to explain those two things real quickly. Because California Associated Realtors, as you guys know, has stopped open houses from happening. It affects the organic traffic that comes to a house from a homeowner who may not be represented, or may be represented by one realtor represents 10 different clients. And sending those clients out, hey, go on Redfin, there's 3 properties, go see, just go check them out, let me know if you like them. That whole conversation, you eliminated that. So I would say about 50% of the exposure to a property has been affected by the COVID-19. And generally, if we're talking about like the Metro San Diego, and let's say marketing time for that property was 23 days. Marketing time is the amount of time it's left on the market before it closes. What happens with COVID-19 and the exposure time, because the exposure to a property generally may be somewhat similar. It's what the market predicts that it will take for this property to sell. So let's say exposure time is 30 days or below. Right now, you may start to see in the month of April, properties that sit on the market a little bit longer than the average marketing time because, like I said, people are to stay at home unless it's essential. If you're going to buy a house, that may be considered to be essential. You're going to one place and back home. So, but then you miss out on people just driving by and seeing an open house sign on a Saturday or Sunday saying, hey, let's go be nosy, let's go check this house out, and they end up liking it and buying it, right? So those kind of things are affected by COVID-19.
how do you think the value of homes have been affected or will be affected? What's your opinion there?
This is also going to be very tricky. As we all know, generally speaking, when interest rates are low, property values go up, and that's the balance. If interest rates rise, property values come down. That's that tug of war that a buyer and seller, or the market, I would say, and the seller play with themselves. So right now, interest rates are volatile, so they're all over the place. And you can't get a clear snapshot or a picture of what the market's going to do, especially now that people still have jobs. So that's one thing. So there's market confidence, but it's an interesting time because people are wondering, is this a good time to buy, or is this a good time to sell? Because there's simply somewhat of an unknown. What I have seen and the trend that I have seen in March is it's very, very strong. I think April going into May will give us an honest answer on what's going to be going forward as far as how strong the market is. But we're in the first week of April, and I'm still very, very busy. Out of this week, I think we did 14 appraisals. I would say 5 of them were purchases. So that tells you that the market is responding strongly, and people feel confident that we will get through the COVID-19, and maybe buyers and sellers are feeling like this is actually the best time to maybe, I don't know, quote unquote, get a deal because not only can they lock down a low interest rate, but maybe a seller is feeling like, you know what, I don't want to gamble. I want to kind of let my property go and not keep it in the market too long. And so maybe you might see some price drops. And for the buying market, that may be a very good thing. When you have a price drop, but you still have very low interest rates, this is probably a great time to get what we call maybe a deal in the real estate market, especially if you have
How are you evaluating prices? What we have right now is very different than what we had a month ago. So are you taking those evaluations into consideration?
Yeah. So what I'm looking at strongly is, and this is how I would look at it. Let's say if I'm appraising downtown and one development is under litigation, and then they get out of litigation. So they were selling at $500,000 in litigation, but a neighboring development that wasn't in litigation was selling at $550,000. So the litigation aspect of that, because the finance becomes a problem, that they were hit by $50,000 because of litigation. So with COVID-19, that's how I'm making market trend adjustments. If a property, let's say a property is for sale for $600,000 and went on the market March 6th. So that was the beginning of it all, and stayed on the market. And I'm looking at price drops. Is there an average or concession amount per property, per neighborhood on concessions based on COVID-19? Are realtors saying price drop because, are they being specific on the MLS, saying, motivated seller, offer on a second property, needs to sell? Like those kind of things I'm looking at and making a percentage adjustment based on what was and what is, and then being able to support market trends that way. So we're paying really close attention to the concessions that are placed on the MLS, the price drops, how many. Is it a trend? Is it just one property in a group of 15, or am I seeing on average 50% of the properties are making price drops as of now? So we're paying attention to the original listing date. We're paying attention to the trend this time last year, and then what's happening within the past 30 days. So those kind of things, we're building like a case study on that right now, so we can make proper adjustments that will make sense. So I would say continue as a realtor if you're out there, homeowner if you're out there, look at what's really happening in your specific neighborhood, and you want to stick to that trend. And I'm not to say that you should slash your prices. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is pay attention to what's happening in your neighborhood. Really watch days on market. Talk to your other real estate professionals and the people you compete against, and really see what's happening. How are they listing properties? How are they defining what is market value to them at that time? And then as an appraiser, I'm looking at all that information. It makes it a lot tougher because the market still says it's stable and increasing, but it'll take a few months for it to correct itself to saying, well, what was the results, from March will tell a different story in May, right? So we're paying really close attention to market adjustments, exposure time, concession adjustments, and what are those concessions based on?
Right. Excellent. Well, I wanted to bring in your website so that everybody can find you if they're looking for an appraisal, right?
Thank you.
So let's bring your this is Sidney's website if you're looking for appraisals to be done. So you are mostly hired by banks. So when are some of the instances where actual regular people would be calling you?
That's a great question. When regular people, we're all regular people, right?
Yeah. I mean, people that are not going to the bank.
I'm teasing you, and we always do that with each other. But no, I would say a couple things. So if you're a realtor out there and you're saying, okay, Sidney, I need to put a property on the market next week, but I'm not sure when, what price point would make sense in this COVID-19 market. Give me a call. I can look at your property and either guide you towards, here's what I think the trends are, or I can go out and perform an appraisal on that property and say, as of today, this is what market value for that property is. Of course, you can list whenever you want at whatever price you want. Another reason is if someone just inherited a property, let's say in a trust, and they need to get a step up in basis appraisal report. The value of that is if let's say your father passed away and left you a property and he bought that property for $100,000. And then you inherited this property and it's now worth $500,000. Well, you don't want to pay $400,000 in capital gains tax, right? So the step up in basis appraisal report identifies the price of a property at the time of death. And then if you go on to sell that property, let's say for $515,000, then you're only paying capital gain on $15,000, not on $415,000. So those kind of things. Or if you're unfortunately going through a divorce, like anything outside of banking, I do bankruptcy, I do divorce appraisals, step up in basis, you name it. In the website, you can clearly see, as Roxanne is going through there, rebuttals, PMI removal, liquidation, any sort of those products is something that I can help you with.
Very, very helpful. Thank you very much for joining us. And
thank you for having me.
If they are trying to get a hold of you, is there a phone number that they can call?
Yeah, so right here on the top bar of the website, you'll see 619-432-5715. You guys can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. You can send me a personal message if you have a question. Those are my widgets there with Google and Yelp. And then we always go protected. So if you can still see me, I'm not sure, but we go wearing masks to every appointment. I have my box of gloves. So gloves, mask, we want to protect you guys too and stay in code with what California and all the CDC wants us to do. So we ask that anyone just turn on all the lights, open the doors, we can go in and do our thing. And everyone stay safe throughout this time.
Thank you so much for joining us. And maybe you can tell us, you're in your car right now, right?
I am. I just left the condo downtown. I praised it for a firefighter, which was really cool because just getting to talk to him about what's happening right now in his world. So that was great. And, we're just all trying to do our best, just like yourself, Roxanne, and give everyone information so they they have as much education and feel confident moving forward with whatever decision they want to make.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being with us this morning, and keep up the
Thank you.
good
You're an
work
all-star. Thank you so much.
and stay safe out there.
I will. Thank you, guys. Ciao.
Have a good weekend and happy Easter.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
See you
Happy
later.
Easter to you too. Ciao.
Bye.